Welcome to Build Out with Jim Kunkel, your go-to broadcast for learning more about business in the real world. Your host, Jim Kunkel, who is an accomplished professional in business development, sales, and marketing, and is a technical content creator along with being a rising influencer on LinkedIn. On Build Out, you'll get the latest information and knowledge from subject matter experts from across the globe. Okay, let's get this Build Out broadcast started. And here's your host, Jim Kunkel.
Hey, welcome to Build Out. I've got a great panel today, and we're going to be talking about current situation with the economy, and also too on a positive side of opportunities. And we're well represented in a couple fronts here when it comes to labor and also the roofing industry. And we actually might have some more panelists joining us as well. Before we kind of get into our conversation, what I wanted to kind of stress out there that, you know, currently there's a mixed bag of economic information out there when it comes to the current condition. And according to a recent National Association of Manufacturers survey that was done of its membership, that going into the next 6 to 12 months, the survey found that there will be a reduction in capital expenditures when it comes to capital spends, and it's down from the previous year in 2021. Now, in addition to that, CNBC did a recent interview with Moody's Analytics and their chief economist. And what Mark Zandi had said in his interview was that employers are still aggressively hiring in multiple positions, and that's going to be professional careers. That's going to be on the labor side as well. But interest rates are rising. There is still sluggish issues related to materials and supplies. And the other thing is they're also seeing, and through PwC did a survey of businesses, and 50% of the businesses reported that in the next 6 to 12 months, they do plan to cut. And typically when you have a recession, and if you remember recent news, we've had 2 past quarters of negative GDP, and that is technically what they call a recession. Now, we're in a weird situation coming out of the pandemic, and then we had all this hiring going on. We still have that going on right now, but typically employment does lag. And so what we wanted to kind of cover today in a group conversation is positive aspects of this time. If we're in rough seas right now, or we have rough seas ahead of us, this is the best time for you to prepare yourself, and also to take advantage. There is great opportunity, even in recessionary times. There's great opportunities to get a better job, to further your career. And also too, if you're an entrepreneur, it's an opportunity for you to look to break out on your own and become an entrepreneur. So there's a lot of things that we're going to really kind of cover today. Let's go ahead, before we get into this conversation, let's start a round of introductions. Bruno, I'm going to start with you. Would you like to tell everyone who might not know who you are?
Oh, I'm Bruno. Bruno, no BS, I guess. I opened my own company a few weeks ago, and like you see, new entrepreneur, right? And let's go. I've been in the roofing for a long time, and I took the risk to fight the recession and see what the future holds for me.
Excellent. And John, if you could provide your professional background. Oh, we might have froze on John. Hey, Jason, let's go ahead and go with you.
Of course. I'm Jason Stanley. I'm the CEO of IB Roof Systems. We're a PVC single-ply roofing manufacturer. We have 5 facilities across the United States, and we're headquartered here in the great state of Texas, in Grapevine, Texas.
Excellent. John, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. Sorry, I had to move.
That's okay. If you want to go ahead and provide your professional background.
Yeah, John Van Beek. I've been in the wonderful roofing industry here in the United States for at least 27 years. So I recently joined Labor Central in May, and really excited about the platform, and really can't wait to tell you all about it. Sorry, I'm moving around.
Oh, that's okay. So a big question for all 3 of you. Are you coffee or tea drinkers?
Coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah, coffee.
Caffeine, sometimes it's coffee, sometimes it's Coca-Cola. So.
So today's sponsor for this broadcast and also the content with the Build Out series is Coffee Brand Coffee. And if you go to the LinkedIn post, you'll see a link, special link. Also, too, on the YouTube channel, if you go into the video description, you'll also find a link as well. And with that link, you can purchase some good quality premium coffee from Coffee Brand Coffee and also help out this broadcast. Gentlemen, before we go into our conversation, let me play a short clip from Coffee Brand Coffee. Let's talk about the power of a great cup or mug of coffee. Coffee drinking dates back to at least the 15th century from the Sufi monasteries of Yemen. And by the 16th century, the practice of brewing and drinking coffee spread to Eastern Europe and Southeast Asia. Today, coffee is one of the most highly traded commodities, and after water, the most consumed global beverage. For many around the world, coffee helps start the day and provides a welcome physical and mental boost throughout the day. The official premium coffee of this broadcast comes from coffeebrandcoffee.com, who fresh roast coffee as orders come in. Please support this broadcast and my content by using the special build-out link to coffeebrandcoffee.com. Order some premium coffee and teas today and support Build Out at the same time. Again, please support the broadcast, use that special link, and buy some premium quality coffee from Coffee Brand Coffee. Before the stream had started, Jason, you got in very late in the morning, and you came from a conference. Would you like to share with the audience the results from that conference and some of the things that you discovered?
Yeah, absolutely. I attend and sit on several boards, so I get to hear from a lot of economists. I'm not an economist myself, but I have had the privilege of listening to 3 different economists in the last 2 months. And all of them seem to share the same, end game, which is interest rates are going to go up. And interest rates are going to continue to rise to try and slow the economy a bit. But there are some challenges. There are different segments of the market that are going to be impacted drastically differently. Our business, roofing specifically and construction at large, I think this may be the first time where we fare better than most in this recession that it is coming and is looming. But there's so many variables right now relative to limited amount of labor. If you look at the labor index or unemployment index, in almost every state, it's less than 3%. So where are you going to get these materials to try and meet the demand that exists today? Even if you get some raw materials that free up, you still have to have those raw materials manufactured, and manufacturers like ourselves are struggling to hire people to meet the demand. So while the demand may come down, we're not in a bullish position to improve supply at any given time. And therefore, there could be a balancing act here where we spend right through this recession. I share with my kids a lot, right? We all had an opportunity through this COVID era to look at jobs that were essential. I don't know if that term's ever been used, and certainly in my lifetime, but it became very clear jobs that are essential versus jobs that are non-essential. I think as we move into this recession, people are going to migrate to those jobs that are truly essential, jobs we need, jobs that are recession resistant.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at, we're still at that 50-year low with unemployment. And then yesterday, I saw a news brief come out from the West Coast ports that say that the backlog and also a lot of the issues related to offloading goods and materials coming from the from Asia Pacific region, they're starting to kind of lighten up a little bit. They're not quite 100% up to where they need to be, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. So it's good to see that raw materials and other goods and services are starting to flow. We averted a rail strike, which would have been catastrophic, at least $2 to $3 billion a day in lost opportunities in this country. So, there is a lot of good positive things that are happening. And to your point, I work in the protective coatings industry, and the same situation happens when you're looking at industrial painting projects. You just can't find enough workers to be able to do the projects. And then also on the professional level, there's a lot of opportunities as well. Bruno, you have the pulse of really a lot of the craft workers, the workers, also the professionals. You are an influencer in the roofing industry. You also make a major impact when it comes to a lot of the social issues and things like that. What's the current mood right now of in the roofing industry of the workers?
Well, I've been talking a lot with the roofing contractors. They all, friends of my colleagues and all that. And roofing contractors, they all the same thinking. It doesn't matter if they in one state or another. They have plenty of jobs right now, but they cannot start the job because they don't have the labor to start the job. I got a friend of mine, I'm gonna mention his name is Gary. He's owner of this durable slate, and he told me, Bruno, I have a plan of work. I have so much work, but unfortunately, I don't have employees, to do those jobs. I need at least 50 employees, and I'm like, wow. And then he break down for me each county, because he has several branches, and I'm like, man, that's incredible. And you go in North Carolina, it's the same way. I was talking to another buddy of mine, Alan, Reich Roofing, he say the same thing. He's like, Bruno, I have a lot of work, but we are shortage of labor right now. There's a lot of work, but there's not enough people to work, So I'm not sure if, it's always, to be honest with, a lot of people wants to blame the COVID-19, but this issue, as far as I remember, even when I was younger, we always had issues find labor, and now it's shrink. It's getting even worse than, of course, with the COVID-19, with all this political battle, right, between Republicans and Democrats, and this is, I think, it caused a big stress to everyone,
Yeah, and Bruno, you bring up a really good point. Even pre-COVID, a lot of industries, when it came to skilled trades, they're having shortages, they're having difficulty. Even with immigration, it just doesn't seem to be able to satisfy the demand that's out there, not only in the roofing industry, but also other types of trades as well. Jason, anything that you would want to add, related to roofing contractors and projects?
Yeah, so I was with the NRCA, which is the National Roofing Contractors Association, and we went to Capitol Hill not too long ago, and it was one voice with the NRCA, and what we were promoting on Capitol Hill is, with this immigration that's coming, we need to issue visas. We need to extend more visas so that the people that are coming over are actually able to be employed. We have workers that are here that want to work. The challenge is, getting them documented and such so we can bring them on as employees to help improve the workforce. But this, as Bruno alluded to, right, this is not a new problem. The problem just got worse, and we've identified the problem in more detail. That there is a huge workforce issue when it comes to construction. For years, we've been sending our kids off to college and telling them about the benefits of going and getting a 4-year degree, and the trades, in large part, have been ignored. And again, as I alluded to earlier, COVID gave us an opportunity to define those jobs that were truly essential, right? And many of those jobs that were essential that carried on through the pandemic were construction trades jobs. And I'm working with the Roofing Alliance. We're trying to bring roofing as a trade into these trade schools, so people have an opportunity to truly enter into the roofing trade. But we're at a massive deficit. I think it's somewhere around 25,000 employees per year over year, that we're digging into a hole. But there are some opportunities, some new things that are coming out to try and fill the void. And try and improve the workforce today. And I think John may be able to touch on that with some of the things he's doing over at Labor Central.
Yeah, perfect segue. John, let's get you into the conversation here. With Labor Central, would you want to kind of provide a background with it? And I'm going to go ahead and pull up the site to kind of help show everybody about Labor Central.
Yeah, that'll be perfect, Jim. So, we've we have basically heard it from Jim, Bruno, and Jason, and we know it's an issue within our whole sort of construction industry, is really the lack of labor, correct? So that's why Labor Central is such an exciting platform, because it basically provides two avenues, right? Number one is it allows the contractor to actually find qualified install crews depending on zip code, town, or state for any project. So they can find a crew, or they can actually post a project saying, hey, I've got a 35 square shingle job. It's in Tampa, Florida. It starts on Tuesday. I need a crew of 5. And you can post the project, and that automatically goes to every single crew that is in Tampa, Florida. And then you can actually start the conversation with those individual crews that you want to talk with. Conversely, from a crew standpoint, here you have the option of actually increasing your workload. You can increase the number of crews you have, and you have access to extra projects that currently you don't have. So if you look at Labor Central, it's actually the perfect union between a contractor trying to find labor and an install crew trying to find work. And the other nice thing is, if you remember at the beginning of this sort of pandemic when it started, all hell broke loose, right? It's the end of the world. And what you found that initially, and even though we don't think that there's a recession coming up, right? What we found is at the start of the pandemic that contractors started to look at different trades. So if they were only in roofing, they now looked at windows, or they looked at siding. And that's the other great advantage with Labor Central, is that you can actually select whatever trade install crew that you're looking for, and we have it. We will have that database ready for you to use. So it's really a perfect solution, and it's very, very easy to use.
I want to add
Bruno.
something to it. The issue with the illegal immigrants, it always been an issue. Now people using that, almost like as a marketing tool, and showing immigrants coming all over. But it's always been like that. I was illegal one time, and I remember hearing stories from illegal people. Oh, I just came here today. So this is something that is going on for a long time. And the thing is that back in the days, people could work illegally because there was no such thing as an E-Verify. All right. So E-Verify was created by Homeland Security, and it was required in 2007. So since 2007, all the people that used to be illegal and work on construction, now they can, because even though we have a bunch of people coming over, they still is a requirement for them to provide, Social Security, work visa permission. So they cannot. So it created this craziness that, people wants to work, but they can't. And it might be, the fact that, a lot of people right now, you see a lot of shift change, that a lot of people use the subcontractors, because, with the subcontractor, they might own their own company, and they might not need it to show the legal status, of the employees or something like that,
Yeah, Trent Contney, who is the executive legal counsel for the NRCA and most other either regionals or state roofing associations, did a study 10 years ago that said 10% of the roofing industry leveraged subcontract labor. They did the same study last year, and over 70% of the industry now uses subcontract labor. In large part, it's to some of the things Bruno's talking about. There's new rules and restrictions that have been enforced that make it difficult to hire people who have skills and want to work based on some new requirements. To John's credit, I believe in Labor Central, there are E-Verified crews as well. If you need people for a specific job, an airport or a military base or some other project that requires e-verified crews, you could find those as well and their proper documentation. But in large part, we have a massive skilled labor shortage in this country, and many of them are undocumented. And so using subcontract labor is oftentimes a way to leverage skilled labor that might not otherwise be able to be hired as W-2 employees.
Yeah, and then that obviously it's more almost to the point where this was all a self-inflicted situation that was created. We might not be in such bad shape if we were able to figure out a workaround or a way to be able to deal with E-Verify and be able to move forward. Is that correct?
Correct. One of the, positions we were taking when we were on Capitol Hill as an association or as an industry was to try and get them to issue more visas. And we talked with both sides of the aisle, both Republicans and Democrats, and both of them will tell you it's too much of a polarizing topic today. And so no one's willing to get in and address it. And they think it's going to take a few election cycles to go through before we can really get down and we can come across the aisle and start coming up with real solutions to the immigration crisis that we have today, and try and really address this workforce shortage that we have in construction.
Yeah, and the other thing that I'd like to add, Jim, is that the other avenue that's really exciting about Labor Central is we have access to all of these, we've got way over 1,000 installed crews in our database. And if you think about trying to increase and improve the roofing industry, we need to provide them with training, right? So nobody has access to these crews to provide them with any training. So we're excited that we're partnering with the NRCA for their pro certification. So we're going to offer that to all of our install crews. And the nice thing is it's both in English and Spanish. So, and it's basically a written test and then a hands-on test. The other thing that we're excited about as well, Jim, is that we are partnering with roofing manufacturers, right? So they all have these, traveling trailers that go, to a distribution branch and provide training like Owens Corning on shingles or IKO on ridge vents, for instance. Well, we now have the opportunity to actually send an SMS text to every single install crew in that city and say, hey, SRS branch in Tampa, Florida is having a training session from 8 until noon, RSVP. So they have access to improving their individual quality of installation. So we're really excited about that as well.
John, it's interesting you mentioned that, because at Clemson University at this construction symposium I was at last week, that they spoke very specifically about disseminating information down to the crews, that it's becoming very difficult when subcontract crews or subcontractors in general use subcontract labor. The ability for that knowledge share for the manufacturer to get the information to the people who are actually putting or doing the work in construction has become terribly difficult. So I see your point with Labor Central, having a vehicle or a method to connect manufacturers and the education to the actual workforce that's deployed and actually physically doing the work is phenomenal, and I guess a big gap that's been experienced in our industry for some time.
Yep.
And I think a big mistake that I seen too, Labor Central could be a solution for so many. Let's not even talk about roofing contractors, but let's talk about manufacturers. All manufacturers are there to serve their customers, right? Which is the contractors, man. If I was an owner of a manufacturer, and I'm not even going to mention anyone, but there's big manufacturers, they could go on board with Labor Central to help. This is helping our industry. It's not trying to take jobs from people. It's actually helping find, subcontractors or to certain places, and you see that a lot. I get a lot of people ask me all the time, and you see a lot on Facebook, on especially on Facebook, people put them on posts. Hey, I got a crew. I'm ready to travel. they don't even need to travel, because the labor center can give you that right in a specific area, which, we all know that, like Jason say, contractors are using, subcontractor. That's a fact, because there's the shortage of labor. So I would love to see every manufacturer, not one, but not one's corner, not every single manufacturer jumping on board with that, including distributors too as well, and say, hey, let's do it. Let's help our customers, because you building this is helping everyone. It's helping the subcontractors, it's helping the contractor, and it's also helping the customer, that owns the building.
Yeah, I heard from SRS that they're on board with Labor Central, and I think they recognize that if they can help their contractors find skilled labor, they can do more work, which in turn allows them to buy more product, right? But as we started this conversation, right, we talked about supply and demand, simple economics, and that's the constraint we have in the roofing industry today, and construction at large is we can't meet the demand today in large part because we're still constrained somewhat with materials. But as soon as we have the materials, we go right back to the age-old problem that we have that is only getting worse, which is labor. And that's why in large part, I don't think the roofing industry and at large the construction industry is going to be impacted by this recession, because we struggle today to meet that demand that is existing, and with the housing shortage and other things, I don't think it's going away. And we're going to fare better than most.
That's a good point. And the other thing too, I like with this conversation is talking about the potential for collaboration and having multiple entities working together to kind of come up with a solution. In addition to that, you talked, Jason, about it might take a couple election cycles to be able to kind of get back into that consensus type of government where we can tackle problems instead of being on polar opposite sides and come up with solutions that really kind of make sense and also to benefit multiple industries. Now, let me move into the aspect of the professional. We talked about the craft worker and the trades. For the professionals, is there currently, again, in my industry, there is a shortage when it comes to professionals, and that could be people in operations, could be customer service, sales, marketing, whatever the roles might be. Is the roofing industry also experiencing shortages there as well on the professional side?
Absolutely. The wonderful thing is, right, where we spend a lot of time talking about the actual labor and the trade of working with your hands on a roof, there is so much that's required, right? And manufacturing jobs. I'm looking to hire a director of operations today for our own business. We're looking for directors of sales. We're looking for salespeople. We need technicians that we can't seem to fill. So on the manufacturer front, we have all kinds of roles that we're struggling to hire, and they pay really well. And again, we're looking at a looming recession or in a recession today. Roofing and construction at large will be essential and will continue on. So if you don't like the job you're at now, you might want to give the trades or construction or specifically roofing a try, because there is a plethora of well-paying jobs at all levels, from accounting to operations to production to job sites to safety. It is a wonderful industry that is moving forward and needs people badly. Yeah,
Bruno already knows this, but I have past history of working on the commercial and industrial side of roofing, and I can definitely testify to that point. Great industry. To your point, I remember even in 2008 when we had a major downturn, one side of the business might be a little tight when it comes to, say, residential, but there was a lot of commercial and industrial jobs, and we were able to keep very busy and make good profit and actually do a lot of projects and things like that. But it was a different time back then. We didn't have the crunch as bad as it is today. And that's why I like to stress to everyone I talk with, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. As a professional, you need to be networking, and you have platforms such as LinkedIn, but, turn to your network. If you're looking to change your career, or maybe you've got downsized for, budget cuts or whatever, you can get involved in an industry like roofing, and maybe you didn't work in the industry, but there's a professional opportunity, especially if your particular skill set matches what the roofing industry is looking for. And so that's why I highly encourage everyone to really focus on your professional network. Get your content out there, make sure that you're talking and engaging with people in certain industries that you're interested in, and then working your connections, work them really good. And that can open up an opportunity for you, just like where Jason's, hiring right now for several professional positions.
Yeah, I have an inside sales team that is just outside my door there, and they none of those guys went to school for construction. Right? They all went to school at TCU or SMU or Texas Tech or other universities around the country, and fell here, landed here, so to speak. And we've taught them roofing, and they have tremendous careers and tremendous opportunities in front of them. I was just traveling the other day with one of the guys that was homegrown in inside sales, came from enterprise rental cars to being an inside sales, and now is an outside salesperson for us in Seattle, Washington. So many exciting opportunities for these young guys that want to work hard and will find a recession-resistant home in the roofing industry.
Very good. Bruno, any tips on networking for professionals?
Well, just do it like I did it. I my story, right? I told you like 4 or 5 years ago when I created LinkedIn, it was actually to find a job. I was stuck on my position for almost 14 years. I was working for a big corporation, big manufacturer. And I had a buddy of mine that said, "Hey, Bruno, why don't you use LinkedIn?" I say, "What the hell is that?" Say, at that time, I applied to Indeed, Monster.com, all those websites back in the days that was very popular to apply for jobs. And I applied for all big manufacturers, and I always got denied. And I don't know, maybe because I didn't have a good I didn't know how to build a resume, because a lot of people still struggle with that, But it is funny because when I created LinkedIn, I remember I created because I said, a friend of mine said, that's a network. So you meet people. And I started creating a big network, of people. And now you pretty much don't even need to send a resume. It's just like they already know you created such a good network that people hire you, and they don't even ask you for my resume anymore. They can see everything on LinkedIn, and it's just incredible how networking with people can give you. And I tell people all the time, unfortunately, it's not what you know, it's who you know, and that's the sad story, because you can have someone that has a tremendous skills. I don't claim to be the best on everything, and I tell everyone this. Listen, you don't need to know everything. You need to know the basics of everything, and that's okay with as long as you're willing to learn the basics and maybe being an expert in one thing. That's good. It's good for our industry, But you need to be willing to learn other things too as well. So that's it. Network. Start to reaching out to people. Don't try to be like a salesperson. And just be yourself. And hey, how you doing? It's me, John or Jason or Jim. Hey, I'd like to get to know you. I see you a lot on social media. I like your stuff, and that's it. And that's how you create a approach to someone. I seen people approach to me. I don't know if it's a genetic thing that, hey, hi, Mike, I love your stuff. But you can see that they didn't even see my profile. And I'm like, if you had 30 seconds, you would see that this doesn't fit for me, because I'm not a roofing contractor. I'm a manufacturer. And when I was at a manufacturer, I would say the same thing. I'm not a manufacturer. I'm a roofing contractor. So if they pay attention for 5 seconds, just take a look, before you even reach out to Jim or Jason, find out what do they do for a living, because, that's your story right there, take a look at some posters from Jason, from John, and see what they do before you approach them. Even in a sales point, right? You need to know the person. You study the thing before you even, so you study the personality of the person, because you can see a lot by looking, for instance, in Jason. You can see that he posts sometimes things about his kids that is in college. If you look you can see that I have a daughter that is in the military. So that's the connection that you have. John, it's all about Label Central. So, but and Jim.
There you go, John.
And Jim, Jim is the most, humble guy. You are like a big teddy bear, for all the industry, So everyone will know that, it's just, and me, I'm the outspoken, the crazy guy. So everyone will know a little bit, just looking your profiles, just look, don't hesitate and look at it before you reach out to that person,
Wow, that's why people appreciate you, Bruno, because you are no BS.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get me wrong, I BS sometimes, but I try not to, at least when it comes to roofing,
So Jim, one of the things I find interesting and maybe wholesome about the roofing industry specifically and the contracting or construction industry at large is that most people didn't go to school for this. Most people learned it from somebody else. And so there is this almost innate feeling of passing it along and sharing knowledge because we all learned it from somebody else. So if you're interested in coming into the roofing industry or the construction industry, don't feel as if you need to have some grand credentials or grand experience. That this is an industry that will take you in, and you will get paid while you learn. And they have courses in roofing specifically. The NRCA has done so much in the last few years to create training programs and protocols so that you can learn online while you're on the job getting paid. You don't have to oftentimes go and pay for school. You can actually get paid to learn this industry. And we're a wonderful industry that's really got open arms and big hearts. And we want good people to come here.
Yeah, very good, very good. And kind of closing out this episode, is there anything that we did not cover that you'd want to leave with the viewers? Anyone?
Well, I want to speak on John, right? I think when we talk about us doing education and trying to bring people into trades, that is by far the right thing to do, and that's the long game. But it's going to take a while to turn that ship and get people going away from 4-year liberal arts schools and getting them to go into the trades program. That's going to be a shift that needs to happen, but it's the long game. The short game is today is this Labor Central profile or program that John oversees is somewhat like it's an instant shot to connect a workforce. I find it shocking today that roofing contractors can't find labor and skilled labor crews can't find jobs. Yeah. That's not a workforce issue. That's a connectivity issue. Yeah. And if we can get that figured out, we can help move us through these projects and help alleviate some of the short-term workforce solutions we experience today.
Very good. Anyone else?
Labor Central is really a labor matching app, right? Contractor looking for labor looking for work, bring them together.
Very good.
I got one more thing to say. Come on, guys, Labor Central. Look. Fall in love with it, kiss, hug, embrace the cause, it's just go for it, like I say, hello manufacturers, you guys all see me, I'm gonna name a bunch of names right, GF, Carlisle, hey, come on, you guys are big, help your customers. Label Central, it's another competition, it's about helping people, helping the customers. John Mansville, come on, hello everyone, come on. Let's go sign up today. Talk to John. Call. What's your phone number, John? Give the phone number for everyone.
It's 815-708-2394.
There we go. Call this man. Repeat one more time. One more time.
815-708-2394.
All right. Bet your phone might be ringing right now. Come on.
Perfect, Bruno. So it's Jason. How can people follow you, get in contact with you, learn more about IB Roof Systems?
Yeah, certainly. You can go to our webpage, which is IB as in boy roof.com. But if you want to follow me, go to LinkedIn and type in Jason Stanley, IB Roof Systems. I'm pretty active on there. I think what I've found, and in large part thanks to Bruno, is that that network is alive and well. You can access truly people at the very top, C-suite people,
through LinkedIn. I get engaged on a regular basis. Of course, there's some garbage that comes through with people trying to reach out and sell you things, but for the most part, it is a well-respected professional network. I have a Facebook that I use for my own personal use, and I try and keep mostly business stuff on LinkedIn. But go there. There's some great content and some wonderful leaders that otherwise you don't even know exist. And if you'll go and start following people in the roofing industry like myself and people that I'm followed by, there is a wealth of content and knowledge that's being shared every single day on LinkedIn. And the amount of direct access you can have to real leaders in both roofing and construction at large is incredible through that platform.
Yeah, everyone give Jason a follow, and also send him a connection request. John, how can people follow you or get in contact with you, learn more about Labor Central?
Yeah, really. I mean, all of the information is on laborcentral.com. We've got short little videos to show you, how do you sign up? How do you search for a crew? How do you post a project? And also for crews, how do you register? And then on exactly the same as Jason, LinkedIn is the best platform for our industry, I believe.
Okay, perfect. And I'm going to go to the rising TikTok star, Bruno No BS.
Yeah, man, that's the story. Remember, they shut me down, they banned me, and I had to redo it, everything again. I had a close to almost 1 million followers in TikTok, and just my hashtag alone was 25 million views. And unfortunately, I realized that I cannot put OSHA Nightmare at TikTok. That was the reason they banned it, because of the OSHA's Nightmare. So I don't post anymore, and I'm creating everything again. I'm getting traction right now. I'm close to 200,000 views on my hashtag right now. So if someone wants to follow me, just Google hashtag Bruno with 2 N's. And it was a mistake when I was born, it was supposed to be Bruno with 1 N, and they typed with 2 N's, and it became like that. So Bruno with 2 N's, no BS, and that's it. Go and follow me on LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and you'll see me, and YouTube too as well.
Oh, very good. Very good. Make sure everyone follows Bruno as well, and looking forward to posts from you. You always are very entertaining, educational, and informative too, Bruno. So good job. I appreciate it. That's it.
Quick shout out to you, Jim. Thank you for what you're doing for our industry. And wow, what a professional communication podcast and everything leading up to this. And I've gone back and saw many of the things you've done. You're a huge asset to our industry, and thank you for all you're doing. It's awesome.
Thank you. I very much appreciate that. And with that, this is the close of the episode, everyone. I appreciate watching Build Out, and I'll see everyone next Wednesday. Bruno, thank you. John, thank you. Jason, thank you.
Hey, thanks a lot.
You take care, buddy.
All right, everybody, have a good rest of your day.
You too.
You too.
Thank you.
I hope you found value with today's Build Out broadcast. Make sure you connect with Jim on LinkedIn and subscribe to his YouTube channel. This way you'll be notified on new live streams and when new content is released. Please give today's broadcast a like and share with your connections and colleagues. Thanks for watching, and please visit buildoutproductions.com for additional content and to join the mailing list so you can keep updated on other streams and quality content from the creators on the Build Out Productions team.